Good morning, YouTube and TTC fam. Welcome to Thursday's market analysis. Is today going to be midweek reversal day? That's what we need to find out today. Have a look at what happened yesterday. And what I also want to do today is have a bigger picture look at Bitcoin, because I think there's some key things when we zoom out that will show why I have consistently been looking for shorts in this uptrend. So I want to get into that, want to get into news plays, want to get into lots of stuff in this video. So if you love crypto educational content, you have come to the right place. If you're brand new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn that bell notification to all so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. I have noticed that my average watch time on my videos is about 5 minutes. Guys, the juicy stuff happens after 5 minutes. So stay with me and let's get through this. Having a look at the market in general, there's not too much I really want to talk about. My main concern, as you guys are aware, is this USDT dominance, and it is really holding that support right now. And it's very indecisive currently. So we really need to see this either try to shift out and move up, which will mean that people are shifting back into USDT and de-risking, or break this support line and continue to head down, which will mean people are still risk on. Dixie's also holding the weekly support currently. Ethereum still has a couple of hours to go on the daily time frame, but currently that candle is looking like nothing of significance happened for the entire day. And Bitcoin we're going to get into now. Okay, so just to go over what we were talking about yesterday, this is the perfect EMA play that is on yesterday's video. So if you didn't see it, make sure you go back and watch it, because this is doing exactly what I talked about. Now, just to give a quick overview, we were waiting for a break and retest of these two EMAs, the red and the green, which is the 10 and 20 EMA. And then in addition to that, we wanted to get a break of this yellow one, which is the 50. The yellow one was the key one because price has respected that EMA since all the way back in March. Only once has it dropped above, but many times it's come back to retest and bounce off. So to take a short before price fell below this yellow EMA was really risky. Zooming in on this area, let's go in through detail what actually happened. So we're waiting for a break of this, and I ideally want a price to get below the yellow as well, then come back up to retest and fail the EMAs for an entry. This market structure yesterday was very choppy. It was closing above EMAs, back below EMAs. So off the market structure alone, it was a risk to get in. And also the EMAs had started to move horizontally. So what had happened actually was we had now created this support down here. And in reality, we were just in a trading range. We were just ranging sideways. So as I mentioned in yesterday's video, when this happens and the EMAs are horizontal, the safer play is to wait for price to actually break a level, whether that's to the downside to open a short or break resistance to the upside to take a long. Now that will probably leave you with not as good a risk to reward, but it is a much safer play. So for those who decided to wait for price to close below the EMAs, you'd still be waiting currently because price is right at support, and you'd be waiting for this to break down now before opening a trade. But this here is the level that I actually wanted to talk about. Right here at around, I think it was 47,750, I noticed huge short orders in the order books, and I actually did an update about that on my Twitter here when I saw it. So see here the 915 at 47,750, and then there was 731 above that as well. So I knew this was the area to watch for shorts, and you can see price hadn't actually got there at the time that I posted this. And this little spike up and then quick rejection, that was that getting filled. So as you can see here, these white lines, I've got those areas marked. The way that we play this in my Discord is when we see those orders, we want to front run them. There are conditions that you have to meet to make sure it's not a fake order. But if those conditions get met, then we front run that by a couple of $100 to get our entry. So a lot of people in my Discord would have got this entry. I also have a pro chart section, which alerts you when we're approaching the entry. So people would have known that was coming. If you're not in my Discord and you'd like to be part of it, the link is in the description below. However, don't join today because Patreon charges you at the time that you sign up, and then again on the 1st of the month. So today's the 31st. If you join today, you'll get charged today and again tomorrow. So just wait a day or two to be safe and then come and join us there. Here's the thing. If we don't break this support, there is still a chance that we could bounce and head up to 50K. And the reason for that is because we are ranging. So this is giving us a good hint of lower highs that we should break down. But I don't think at this point in time that we should rule out one more spike before we come down. And the reason for that is because after such a big push in the market, there's a reason that they held price here for an entire day. It's either that they are accumulating for the next run or they are slowly selling off. That's what we need to wait and see. Now, if they are accumulating for the next push to the upside, then that 51,400 level is the area that I'm watching. Now, let's talk about why I'm looking for shorts when we are in an uptrend, because you're right that doesn't make sense. You should trade with the trend and we should be heading up. So what I need to clarify is that I'm already in a long position. This is how I like to trade. When I find a trend, I like to hold that trend for as long as I possibly can, as long as price stays above my required EMAs on a higher time frame. So I'm already long on Bitcoin. What I'm looking for now is to hedge the long in case this isn't the start of a new long-term uptrend. There is nothing to say right now that we are going to come back here to the 45-ish area where everybody's expecting a bounce to get in, because everybody wants a retracement because they know that it shouldn't buy the tops. There's nothing to say that we will bounce there. So right now on the higher time frame, all we have is a higher high. We do not have a confirmed change in trend with a higher low. Keeping that in mind, when we zoom out to the daily and we draw fibs from the top of the last all-time high down to the low, price currently is only at 38 fibs and struggling at 38 fibs. That is extremely bearish. There is a chance that we are still very much in a macro downtrend, and that this little range here, you can see it very clearly there, that this could be the drop, this could be the flag recovery, and we could be heading further down into the 30s. We won't know that until price does its retracement and finds a new support. And even if it did that and then bounced, look at the supply zone that we've marked out. That is happening to line up exactly with 50 fibs. So even then, we could come all the way down back to the bottom of this channel at around 40,000, come back up to 50, and then reject from there, and then see low 30s potentially. So the reason that I'm looking for shorts, as much as I want this to be the beginning of a new uptrend, and I also am waiting for a retracement to look for a higher low, if it turns out that we don't get that higher low, and this is continuation of a bearish trend, we've basically caught the top of that peak, and we can hold it down at a minimum back to the bottom of this channel. And then we'll have a pretty free and easy trade out of it. And at the same time, that hedges my long, because if my long is from the bottom of this channel, I can keep it open. I can let price retrace to create a higher low. I've got a short open in case that continues down. If it bounces there, I close my short and my long stays open to continue up to the next level. I don't know if that's super complicated. Hedging might take a little bit more of a conversation, but I wanted to explain in this video why I'm looking for shorts in what is currently an uptrend. And the answer is I'm simply not convinced at this point in time that we're going to create that higher low. The other thing too that I find really interesting now that price is heading here is the news plays out at the moment and what is trying to currently bring price down. So you may have heard, during this run, all the news was bullish. The crypto news was talking about Luna buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And you may have also heard that the deadline has been created for a spot Bitcoin ETF by June. All great news for crypto market, right? Now that we're up here, the news is now bearish news. We have crypto tax coming in India from April 1st. So now the speculation is, was this push here crypto whales pumping price so that they could take profit before the tax comes in tomorrow? And it just so happens that we're starting to look bearish one day before this tax rule comes in. seems to be a bit of a coincidence to me. And this was actually brought to my attention by one of you guys that watches my videos. So thank you for pointing that out. I think that's a definite valid reason for the pump we've had lately. And now we've also got this other bearish news about Europe cracking down on unhosted wallets and enforcing regulation. So it doesn't really matter what the news is, but it's always just very interesting that when price is pumping, magical news comes out that's super bullish. And when price reaches the top, all of a sudden the bearish news comes out. So as much as I'd love to be a crypto bull on YouTube right now and doing tiles saying we're going to 200K, the reality of it is price is struggling at 38 fibs on a higher time frame and it's reached the top of a channel. So we need to be careful. Now, having said that, on a lower time frame, when we were talking about what happened yesterday and how Bitcoin was just moving sideways, what a lot of traders tend to do when Bitcoin isn't moving at all in a direction is they tend to hold off and not trade anything because they're scared that Bitcoin will make a big move that will take out their trade. Whereas the reality of it is that when Bitcoin is doing nothing, when Bitcoin's consolidating, it's actually the best time to trade alts. If we take a quick look at Solana, for example, Solana had a really big breakout yesterday whilst Bitcoin was doing nothing. AVAX as well had a really nice push to the upside. LTC, strangely enough, had a big push as well. Luna, it's come back now, but that had a push out of the range. So you can see there was actually a lot of trading opportunities on altcoins yesterday when Bitcoin was heading sideways and doing nothing. Now let's take a look at the liquidation levels on High Block. So we're currently sitting at 7 billion longs at risk of liquidation should price head down. This tells me that people are sitting on their hands, which kind of makes sense. If price is consolidating sideways, people are going to sit on their hands until it's picked a direction. There's a lot of white space around where current price is. And over here, we can see that there are quite large spikes for longs, but there isn't really anything large up here for shorts. So it does look like the liquidity for the market maker right now is lower than where we are. All of these really big circles here, price has not come back here yet. And that's taking us down to about 43.7K. At the highest level, if they decided not to come for all of this in between, we've got around 46.25. Let's match that up on our chart. And that actually brings us, this white line here is 43.7K. That brings us much lower than our target. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to come back and collect all of that leverage and drive price down that far. But if that did happen, I'm not sure that people would still be as bullish because many people are expecting a bounce here. So between 46.25 and 43.7, this is where the most longs are at risk of being liquidated. And the question is, if price does break this support and head down, how much of it do they actually want to take out? We can't know that until price actually does break and head into that area, but it still very much could be a case that price does come down, take out half of that amount, shoot up to 50, come back all the way down to the low 40s and continue the bearish trend. So the conclusion from all of this is that we shouldn't be banking on a 45K bounce. We should be trying to protect the profits that we've made so far and be prepared in case this isn't actually a new uptrend. Let's take a look at Trading Light and see if we can see any hint of what might be going on. So this is on Binance. Immediately this red area stands out. To me, we've got that 1.1K at 47,600. That is 1.1K Bitcoin. So that is a very large amount at that level trying to short the market. And we've also got the other levels below that add to that. So we're looking at probably around over 2,000 Bitcoin shorts, somewhere between 47,500 and 4,600. Now those have been there for a while. So I would say that they're not spoof orders. I would say that because the orders are so large, this is why we've been spiking up there a couple of times, because in order to sell, somebody has to buy, right? So we may just not be having enough buyers on this side to pick up all the shorts that are trying to send price down. And that would explain why we ranged yesterday and didn't really go anywhere. So we could have a repeat of that today for all we know. We do have the potential today of trying to spike up into that area a couple of times to fill the rest of the orders and then come down. That is still very much a possibility. Below price, we've got bulls trying to defend 46,350, and then the next area is 45,450. In comparison, it looks like the bears are definitely fighting much harder. However, these are still fairly significant orders if they stay there once price starts to come down. So it could be that if we do break support, we head down here, these orders get filled that give us a little bit of a bounce, maybe more short orders come in on that, because if we line this up with the chart, it would look something like this. I just drew all that out for you. So these are the orders, these blue lines that are currently in trading light. So it could be that we bounce off this support, come down to the buy orders down here, come up for a lower high. Those orders will now be gone because they got picked up, which is what pushed price up here. New short orders would have to come in to support into resistance, which would cause us to come down, and then the final leg down to 45.4-ish, and then reassess what happens there. So that's what I'm looking for today. That's my play of the day. I'm also, for as long as we are above that support, I'm also watching for a change in market structure within support and resistance to see if we start to create higher highs and higher lows for one more breakout to the upside. So I'm certainly not ruling that out. All right, that's all I got for you. Don't forget, if you are wanting to join the Patreon, don't join today. Wait another day or two just to be sure that you don't get double charged. Also, follow me on Twitter for updates because this is my last YouTube for the week. If anything happens over the weekend, I will post it on my Twitter. Make sure you grab my social media links from the description down below to make sure you're getting the right one and not a fake account. If you enjoyed this update, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and leave me a comment below on what your play of the day is going to be. Have an amazing day. Also have the best weekend ever, and I will see you again next week.